I just finished up with the Santee Cooper tournament for the Bass Pro Tour. It was a really interesting event. It was pretty tough in practice. It was really cold. It was not easy fishing. It wasn't quite pre-spawn yet. I'm guessing maybe it was. It's hard to tell, but the water was really cold. We had a cold front, dirty water because they've had a ton of flooding that came in prior to us getting there, just a ton of rain. So everywhere was really muddy. Basically what I found in practice was I had really two little ponds that were backwater ponds that had milfoil, hydrilla, and a little bit eelgrass in them. I mean, these were small little ponds, and I was really just targeting these fish that were trying to stage. I think they kind of backed off the bank because it was so cold, and they're just kind of hunkered down in this grass that was just out off the bank, if that makes sense. They weren't up on the bank, shallow. They were shallow, but just out a little bit. These fish were just kind of backed out. So best bait for me was a chatterbait. I threw 4 different colors actually. I threw a green pumpkin, I threw a white, I threw red, and I threw a black and blue. And that was the biggest thing for me. I tried multiple different crankbaits to try and catch these fish. I tried classical leader, I tried a BDS1, I tried a 1.5, and I couldn't get these groups of fish to bite. But my primary area was throwing the chatterbait, and then my secondary area was in the next pond down, the next lake down at Santee Cooper. And the water was stained, and I had an offshore point that had hydrilla on it. And the hydrilla topped out at 5 feet. And what I was able to do is fish my primary area with the chatterbait, and then I ran down to my secondary area, and that's where I pulled out just a 1.5 in pearl threadfin shad, and I had it on 16-pound test. The reason I put it on 16-pound is that I wanted to really have a lot of power for when it would hang up in this grass, this hydrilla, this offshore hydrilla. I could snap and clear the bait. One thing about hydrilla is it's really, really tough, so you can get a crankbait to run through it. When you get an eelgrass and milfoil, crankbaits don't work as well because it's a real soft vegetation. That real soft vegetation, it likes to cling to the bait, and it's really hard to clear. That's why the chatterbait is better for that. So down in the secondary area, I had this offshore hydrilla that I was able to go and run a 1.5 in the pearl threadfin and catch a few key fish to keep me up in that top of the leaderboard. So day 1 and 2, I ended up, I think, in 2nd or 3rd place. And then I stumbled on day 3, but I was still able to run down to this area and even jump up. I mean, I was in 20th place, and I was able to go down and catch a couple key more fish and at least move up into 18th place, which is where I ended up finishing the tournament. But the 1.5 helped me down on that offshore grass and that hydrilla, and then it was the chatterbait up in that softer grass that really did the damage this week at Santee Cooper.